How strong is Gamin Yoon within the Blue String universe? To answer this, we first have to look at his uncle, Yoonga. I apologize if I'm horribly mispronouncing that name. I suck with Korean pronunciations. But regardless, yes, Yoonga, the same character that we see in Hanlim Gym. Now, it's important to understand that the Yoonga we see in Study Group is a future version, one who has long since left PvP, and thus one who has achieved his goal, which was conquering PvP. This would mean, at an absolute minimum, this Yoonga has long surpassed Suho Kang, and you could even argue he surpassed Charles Kim as well. And before someone says it, no, Yoonga hasn't gotten weaker. He has continued training and refining his skills, thus realistically he would have actually gotten even stronger. But why is this important for Gamin? As we see, when Gamin was younger, he would constantly learn from and face off with Yoonga. In Chapter 201, we get further insight to these matches and the growth of Gamin when he was around 10 years old. We see that while the matches they had originally started as a joke, they quickly turned into real sparring matches as Gamin quickly mastered every technique Yoonga showed him. And each time he used one of the 9 stronger techniques and landed a hit, Yoonga would ban them from their matches as he did not want to admit that Gamin was already this good. Then of course we have Junfan, but that's something we'll get into later. So already Gamin's potential is frankly insane, and he was already a sparring partner for Yoonga at the age of 10. Now we can look at the fight between Gamin and Yoonga in chapters 200 and 201. When they first start, Gamin almost immediately gets serious and we see a quick exchange between the two of them. Remember, serious in no way means going all out. For those who've seen the Goose Scale, you know exactly what I'm talking about. After this, we see Yoonga go on the offensive as Gamin begins fending him off, seemingly analyzing Yoonga. Keep in mind, Yoonga clarifies himself that he is going all out. After this, Gamin ramps up the level again and perfectly equalizes Yoonga. We then get a statement that Gamin has used all the forbidden moves except Junfan, which is what Yoonga is anticipating. This means Gamin is highly relative to an all-out Yoonga without entering his strongest state. Immediately after this statement is made, Gamin surprises Yoonga and utilizes one of his mother's taekwondo techniques with the intention of ending the fight then and there. And based on how it is framed, it would have done so had the fight not been interrupted. So already a serious Gamin is highly relative to an all-out Yoonga and is above Yoonga when utilizing his mother's kick. Now with that little baseline out of the way, we can start getting into the really fun stuff. And don't worry, we'll get to Junfan soon. We gotta save the best for last, obviously. Now, after the fight with Yoonga, Gamin states that no one has ever pushed him like that. Now, this would be fine if it wasn't complete bullshit. Now, but why is it BS? Well, let's go back to chapter 188, where we are introduced to the absolute monster known as Kenichi. When Kenichi is introduced, he is able to casually react to Gamin and send him flying with ease. In fact, it gets so bad that Gamin states that casual, keyword being casual, Kenichi is as strong as Yoonga. In fact, in order to fight Kenichi, Gamin needs the help of Hanwoo, and even then it isn't enough. Kenichi is able to react to and tank everything they throw at him. He even outright blitzes Hanwoo and snaps his arm with a single punch. This then forces Gamin to utilize the strongest thing in his arsenal up until this point, that being the second forbidden technique, unfair play or foul play, depending on the translation. This allows them to very, and I mean very, briefly gain the upper hand. Of course, that doesn't last long, as this absolute monster proceeds to blitz Gamin and one-shot Hanwoo. That's absolutely insane. But of course, that's not where it ends, as Hanwoo states Kenichi is about to experience a whole new world. And right behind him, we see our main character completely pissed. That's right, it's finally time to talk about Gamin's ultimate trump card, the state named after Bruce Lee's real name, Junfan. When faced with Junfan, Kenichi explains that Gamin's spirit is cold and sharp, one one that would make any other fighter forget how to fight and completely lose their will to fight. Now, before we get into the fight, we need to kind of go over the flashback that explains what exactly Junfan is and gives us a little bit of a gauge as to how monstrous of an amp it really is. When we get this flashback, the very first thing we see is Yoonga laying in a hospital bed looking like he's on the verge of death, with 10-year-old Gamin crying beside him, wondering if he's going to die, which the doctor confirms he will if he doesn't get proper treatment. This is absolutely ridiculous, and you guys are going to see why. It is then revealed that Yoonga is in this state because Gamin hit him while he had an immense desire to win, rupturing his organs. Yes, 10-year-old Gamin nearly killed Yoonga and ruptured his organs. Yoonga then states that this technique isn't just forbidden in sparring, but in real fights as well, due to the fact that it is far, far too lethal. Again, a 10-year-old utilizing this nearly killed him. We then find out that this state isn't even Jeet Kune Do, but rather something Gamin came up with to beat Yoonga, abandoning Jeet Kune Do to beat Jeet Kune Do, stepping outside the box to beat your opponent, breaking all forms and relying solely on instinct. Sounds a lot like Ultra Instinct in Lookism, by the way. Using everything useful, lawlessness against lawfulness, infinity against finiteness. To win is to use Jeet Kune Do. Abandoning Jeet Kune Do and solely focusing on destroying the opponent is using Jeet Kune Do's mindfulness. That is Junfan. Thanks to this flashback, we know Junfan provides a frankly monstrous amp, one that allows Gamin to nearly kill Yoonga at the age of 10. I really need to stress that. He nearly killed his uncle, the guy that should bare minimum be completely beyond Suho, at the age of 10. And we see more of how ridiculous this amp is in the Kenichi fight. When Gamin enters Junfan, we see Kenichi hurl a kick at Gamin, and at the last possible second, and I mean last possible second, this kick is maybe a few millimeters away from Gamin's face, Gamin reacts, blitzing Kenichi and sending him flying with a single punch. Keep in mind, Kenichi was previously blitzing Gamin and Hanwoo and nearly one-shotting them. We then see Gamin completely annihilating Kenichi. It gets so bad that Kenichi can't react to Gamin at all. Almost like what happened when Gogeta fought Broly and went blue. He can't land a hit. Hell, he can't even respond to Gamin. So realistically, it's worse than what happened with Gogeta and Broly. After beating up Kenichi and nearly killing him, it is revealed that Gamin isn't even aiming to kill him. The only reason Kenichi is alive is because Gamin doesn't have killing intent. He's just pissed off. That's frankly ridiculous. And even without that killing intent and just fighting because he's pissed, Kenichi is so badly beaten that even breathing causes him excruciating pain. But of course, as all amps do, Junfan has its downsides. That downside being the physical toll it takes on Gamin's body and how exhausted Gamin is after utilizing it. And because Gamin is so exhausted and because Kenichi isn't dead, Kenichi musters up the strength to go for one final big hit, which nearly lands on our exhausted main character. But of course, it is interrupted by Hanwoo. So what can we gather from all of this? Well, a casual Kenichi is already on Yoonga's level, if not stronger than him, and an all-out Kenichi is completely beyond Yoonga in essentially every physical factor. Speed, strength, durability, you can even argue stamina, though I will say endurance probably does go to Yoonga. And then Junfan Gamin, without killing intent, is completely above Kenichi, completely violating him, blitzing him to hell and back, can't even react. And Junfan Gamin, with killing intent, should be even stronger. So realistically, at the current moment in Blue String, There is no one in the blue string verse, and I mean no one, who even comes close to Junfen Gamin. The current people that people are trying to say are the strongest, being Red Ghost or Charles Kim, or I've even seen Suho be thrown in there, would all get absolutely destroyed by Gamin. There is no world right now where anyone in blue string has a chance against Junfen Gamin. Gamin is, without a shadow of a doubt, the strongest person in the blue string universe for the time being. So, I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all finally understand why I've been saying Gamin cliffs the entire verse, because he does. So, with that being said, thank y'all for tuning in. Have a good one, and I'll see you all in the next one.